What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hamstead and today we got the best, the most powerful flagship killer here in 2021, and of course I'm talking about this phone over here, which is the Realme GT. And of course, yes, I do understand that this phone was launched back in China in March, I think, and of course it did take some time for it to release officially here in Malaysia, which is quite surprising if you see like the phones like the Poco F3 and the Poco X3 Pro, which also is a flagship killer in its own right. It did sell very well here in Malaysia, and I was very surprised that this phone did actually take so long to actually release here in Malaysia, where we do like this kind of phones, and I'm super excited to actually check out this phone today. So yes, in the typical Dr. Hamstead fashion, what we're gonna do, of course, is unbox this one here. I'm gonna check out the key specs and features, and of course I'm gonna give you my thoughts and my opinion at the end of the video. So yes, without messing about, let's get right into it. Alright, so to be honest, it's actually taking me some time to set up this phone. It's taking me a bit longer than how I would normally set up a new phone. And the reason for that, the first reason is because this is the first ever Realme device that I'm actually using ever. And the closest device I got to this was the Oppo Find X2 phone. And of course, in terms of the software, they are both very similar. And in terms of the Realme UI 2.0, it just has a lot, like tons, shitloads of features which I don't think I can cover in just today's video. So I'm going to talk about the build and design of this phone, and to be honest, I got to say I really like this phone. It's very nice in terms of the grip because it's a pretty good size to it, 6.43 inches over here, so very nice to hold. And of course it's very lightweight. It does have a 4500 milliamp battery over here, and like I mentioned before, you do have a 65 watts of super dart charge over here to charge up your phone really fast. So in terms of the design, I gotta say, like again, I really like this design here. It does have that kind of a sports car feel, kind of a Lamborghini, kind of a Ferrari, or whatever you want to call it over here. It has a very nice feel to it, and it's very refreshing because I review a lot of phones, and yes, I do mention about a lot of phones I like the design, but this is very unique because this one here does have your kind of a leather design over here, which is only exclusive if you do purchase the yellow variant over here. This one I think is a bit of a plastic or glass feel. I'm not too sure about it. In terms of the front over here, you do have a glass panel. I'm not too sure what glass panel is it, whether it's a glass Victus, which I doubt so. It could be a glass 5, which is pretty common in this type of price range, but you do have a glass panel over here, and you do get your plastic frame, aluminum, kind of a plastic frame on the sides over here. So in terms of the build and design, I gotta say this is really good. Alright, so now let's talk about the display of the Realme GT. So you do get a flat screen display over here, which is really good, especially if you guys are into a lot of gaming. You do get some bezels on the bottom over here, which I think is a little bit decent because if you're doing some gaming, you don't have any accidental touches over here. But of course, if you want that full screen display, you're not going to get this here with the Realme GT. And you do get your Super AMOLED display with 120 Hz. And to be honest, the 120 Hz here does feel a little bit different compared to the other phones that I've tested so far. It does feel a little bit more smooth and a little bit more fluid compared to other 120 Hz panel over on this channel. And in terms of the resolution, yes, I do understand that you don't get your Quad HD Plus or whatsoever, but for this display over here, I gotta say, in terms of the contrasty, in terms of the colors, it does look really good. And it's not very surprising because I do know that Oppo does make really good displays with their phone. So I'm gonna show you here some 4K content to show you how good is the display on the Realme GT. Alright, so we're watching some 4K content over here, and to be honest, if you compare this to like the Mi 11 Ultras, the S21s and all these other top-end displays, it's really quite up there. I would say it's really sharp in terms of the colors, the contrast of it is really good, and in terms of the deep blacks as well, I gotta say it actually looks really good. So I'm just gonna show you over here and you judge for yourself if the display does look really good on this video, of course. Alright, so now I'm going to test out the speakers, and before I go there, I'm going to go through the other hardware on this phone. So yes, you do get your audio jack over here on the side, you get your USB-C charging, you get your down-firing speaker, and also a top-firing speaker to give you a stereo speaker setup. Get your volume rocker on the sides over here. Of course, your SIM pin, you can put it over here on the side. And here is your power button. And in terms of the fingerprint unlock, you get your under display, which works really fast. And in terms of the face unlock as well, as you can see here, it works just really fast. So we're going to test out the speakers on this phone to see how good it sounds. So I can put it to the max. Alright. So to be honest, in terms of the volume, in terms of clarity, in terms of the bass, I think it's really good. So in terms of the speakers, in terms of the display, you're not gonna miss out a lot here with the Realme GT. Alright, so the next thing we'll talk about here are of course the internal specs of this amazing phone. So yes, this one here does come with your Snapdragon 888, the latest so far here in 2021. This one here does come with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. And yes, this phone did have some controversy when it came to the GEEKBENCH scores. So yes, I did run this test over here and I'm going to show you the results. So over here are the results that I got for this over here, and this is comparing it to the Xiaomi Mi 11, which is also running the Snapdragon 888. So yes, in terms of score, as you can see here, single core score is a bit higher, but when the multi-core score is a bit lower to the Xiaomi Mi 11. And yes, I'll definitely be doing a full comparison video here with the Xiaomi Mi 11 just to test the overall performance of the Realme GT. Next thing I'll talk about here is the software side of things. So yes, like I mentioned, the Realme UI 2.0 does come with a lot of features. As you can see here, in terms of the personalizations, you can customize your always-on displays, your wallpaper, your icon style as well. You can change, how big you want it to look. In terms of the app name as well, you can actually change the font size to which is just really cool, and I don't see this in a lot of other phones. In terms of the app layout as well, you can change how many columns you want, how many rows you want. Really awesome fingerprint styles, and of course notification drawers. You can actually change the shapes over here, which again, I don't see this on many other phones, and I went for this because it looks very Samsung-ish for me, and I'm a big Samsung user. And of course, it's your font and display, your colors as well, your accent colors, which is just a lot. And this is just the first part of it in terms of the customizations. You can even change your home screen here as well, which have a lot of stuff. And the main thing I was like is this double tap to lock feature. And also you have this smart sidebar here. So it's very similar to the Samsung's Edge panel. So you can actually put the apps that you want over here and also your recent apps, and it can help you to kind of go into the split screen as well for certain apps. So it's very handy with this feature over here. So last thing here we're going to talk about are those cameras. So over here on the top you have your 16 megapixel selfie shooter, and going on to the back, I'm not sure if you can see it because it's pretty dark. You do have your main lens over here at 64 megapixel. You also have an ultra wide at 8 megapixel, and of course some useless macro camera at 2 megapixels. So yes, we're going to take some shots over here and I'm going to show you how good they look. Alright, so this is a shot with the main lens, and I gotta say it actually looks really good, very sharp and detailed, and colors are pretty much on point. Going on to the next one here, the ultra wide, it does look very soft and out of focus. Going on to the 2 times the digital zoom, this one does look really good. It is a bit noisier compared to the main lens, but it still is pretty decent. This is the 5 times of digital zoom as well. Still looks pretty good, I would say. And last one here is a selfie shot. I gotta say this one looks really good as well. You can see some pores on my skin, you can see my facial hair. So in terms of the selfie shot, I gotta say this one looks really good. So overall, in terms of the camera department over here, I gotta say this one is more like a B+ grade, easily B+, because they do have a very good camera setup over here. So yes, I'm just super excited for this phone, and trust me when I say I am going to use this as my primary driver to kind of maximize the use of this phone over here. So yes, if you want to see more of these videos, and of course if you did enjoy this, do click the like and smash the subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my social as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube at Dr. Hammerstack. So that is it. This is Dr. Hammerstack. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.